So thank you all. So this is about our Clean Sea campaign program as for the citizen science. So India joined the Clean Sea campaign program as our beloved Prime Minister declared it on the World Environment Day, June 5, 2018. So we are actually we are having an ambitious pleads and for which for our extensive efforts for beating plastic pollution we as a country, as a nation, we received an award from the UN on the UN Environment Day, and we had a ambition that by 2022 we'll eliminate all single use that. So basically, this plastic is a problem for the marine environment. So I'm quoting here from the Undersecretary General of UN. So in his International Coastal Cleanup 2010 report, he has said that marine litter is a symptomatic of a wider malaise and poor management of natural resources, the plastic bags, bottles, and all the debris that is piling up in the oceans actually can be reduced by improved waste reduction. And as we know, that a paper was published in the Science in 2015 by Zambak. There, she has mentioned that 119 countries that is bordering that is having a border with the ocean, producing 275 million metric ton of plastics and releasing almost 8 million metric ton of mismanaged plastic to the sea. And this 2 billion of people within 50 kilometer of coastline, people residing within the 250 kilometer of the coastline, and there was a prediction that by 2050 the total weight of plastics will outnumber the total weight of fish in the ocean. So it is going to have a disastrous effect on our marine environment, and ultimately once it enters to the marine environment, it moves with the current system and ultimately reaches and through river system from the land it goes to the through the river system and ultimately land in our beaches along our coast. And if you see the lower panel, if you see that for the India they had estimated, though this information based on some of the hypothetical data. So but they have the studies shows that almost all along our Indian coast and some of and the South Asian coast, South Asian countries coast, almost the input from the river is 2,000 metric ton per year. And that's what the people say, that plastics are everywhere and worldwide, and it is in almost all beaches. And out of the total marine debris that reaches to the coast, and 3/4 of the debris are plastic. And this plastic again comprise of cigarette butts, food wrappers, straws, stirrers, forks, knives, and plastic bottles, plastic bottle caps, like this. All are what is used and thrown out to the beach directly. And the basic crux of the problem is that why we should be worried about this plastic, that because of the longevity of plastics. A general life expectancy of a human being is about 75 years, but a aluminum can stay in the marine environment till 200 years. A disposable diaper or a plastic bottle can stay to different sizes, like and fragments. Care products, actually these are the primary microplastics, and the fibers that is break down from larger plastics, the foam because of our regular synthetic clothing and fishing nets, it comes from the washing machine what you use, and really and ultimately the fiber goes and the foams goes from there, and the fragments that the food containers are plastic caps, and that the fragments come. And the real scale of plastic problem is if you look at the Indian scenario, the plastic is the fastest growing industry right now, where it is hosting more than 2,000 exporters and employing 400 million people and 30,000 units. Growth has increased exponentially, and there was a plan for 18 plastic trucks at a the total fund allocated is $6.2 million US dollar, and 43% of manufactured plastic used for packaging, only single-use packaging. And right now, we, as per the statistics, we are using 11 kilogram of per person in India, and it is going to increase to 22 kg by 2022. And this plastic waste, what is estimated that by 8% of the total solid waste contribute the plastic waste. And 10 rivers, and out of that 10 rivers, they actually drain 90% of the total plastics, and 90% out of that the 10 rivers, the 3 are flowing through India. So this is the statistics published, found in literature also. So having said that, the plastic actually has entrenched to our lifestyle in such a way that in the recent COVID-19 fight, we have seen that how this unpopular plastic has become a savior. And so we, at this point, we cannot say no to plastic. We have to say yes to plastic because it has been a part and parcel of our lifestyle. So we can say that it is a no to pollution. So now the responsibility is ours how to make it. And with this background information, I just wanted to give an idea what the exactly coastal cleanup and how it started and how we took it for forward. So the Ocean Conservancy initiated first, that is the first international cleanup was started by 2 committed individuals, that is the Linda and Kathy, and they were when they started it in 1986, joined with them, and it became a regular phenomena, and ultimately it became a international coastal cleanup. So that if you look at the last year's report, ICC report, it gives almost 5.7 million cigarette butts they have collected, which is this is the statistics collected from all over the beaches. They got the information and they had made it a report form, and the number of the plastics which we are seeing, that the food wrappers is something like 3.7 million. This is what is very, very threatening for the environment. So why we should be? So we have now come to a stage where this plastic pollution reached its crisis level. So we cannot leave it as usual, and that's why a research organization sitting dedicated for the coastal science at Chennai, we started with the guidance of our secretary, Dr. Rajivan. We started initiating a program for how to do the research on marine litter and the microplastics. And as a part of that, a report on the country report for the regional action plan, and where we try to find out what are the literature available in the country, what are the studies have been made in India, what is the information, because whatever the information that is available or that is published is based on the hypothetical information. So we initiated a massive International Coastal Cleanup Day, we observed on 21st September 2019, and on state-wise composition of marine litter, we did with 34 beaches and with 26 coordinators, having 7,000 volunteers, and total litter weight we got for 35 tons. And the institutes are involved starting from the Indian Coast Guard, CSIR Institute, local schools, colleges, universities, and a number of NGOs and public. And the effort time is only for 2 hours. And it was extending over 1 to 2 square kilometer area. And when you initiated it, we got a very good response. So I just want to show you what the response we got from the state of Gujarat. Starting from the west coast, 3 beaches were cleaned, were participated, that is Mandavi, Veraval and Dumas, and that was taken care by the Gujarat Institute of Desert Ecology and College of Fisheries Science, Junagadh, and Sri Ramakrishna Institute of Computer Education. And you can see on the right panel, I have a graph where it shows that 56% of the. So this gives an idea that the tourism and recreation, that means the plastics are coming from the basically from the tourism and excretion, and 10% of fishing activities, and the general waste, which comprise household items and also medical waste, that comes to the that we categorize under general waste, comes the 20%, and the miscellaneous fragments and unidentified foams are coming from 14%. Likewise, we did for this is for the Maharashtra. There also we did some of the 3 beaches, and the total litter was collected something around 6,000 kilogram. And the beaches of Girigaon was done by the National Institute of Oceanography Regional Center, the Arnala by the Viva College of Science and Commerce and Arts, the Sagareshwar Sri Pancham Kaviraj Mahavidyalaya did, and here we found that tourism and recreation you are getting 37%. At the same time, the general waste is coming also the same amount, same volume. That means this type of information gives us a lot of data, or a lot of information to understand how our beaches are being littered. And similar as the Goa, there are 3 beaches we undertook, and where we engaged 300 volunteers, and this was done by the Karnajalam beach was done by CSR of Goa, the Akshan beach done by the villagers of Madaki Punda, and the Kolva beach by the PSCS RSN College of Arts and Science. And there also you can see the Goa beaches, the tourism recreation 45% contribute. The Karnataka also 2 beaches were selected. The one beach is the Tani Bhavi beach, Mangalore, that is the College of Fisheries. They did, and the Hanuman beach at Karwar, the Karnataka University, the Department of Marine Biological from Karnataka University, they did. And here you can see the 62% of litter that is coming from the tourism and recreation resource. The Kerala, the beaches, 5 beaches were taken, and 9.5 kilometer total covered, and this was done for Kannur beaches, done by the Nirmalgiri College, for Fort Kochi by the Department of Marine Biology QSHAT. Similarly, the beaches for Kozhikode, the district collector was interested, and he took up the challenge, and he cleaned that beach using even the machineries. And the Alpura beach by the MGU University. Similarly, Thiruvananthapuram for the St. Thomas. And here also you can see that 43% of tourism and 30% is the general waste, and 9% from the fishing activities. Lakshadweep, which is the island beaches, this Kadmat Range Beach and Kavarati Range Forest were clean, and there we engaged the local forest officers, and they did the cleanup activity, and they found also 36% was coming from the tourism and recreation activity. Similarly, on the east coast, we taken up the Digha beach, where the local college was associated, and here we got 69% of the plastic or the waste material coming from the tourism and recreation, and the general waste is also the second dominant 25%, which is systems on the north of the Digha beaches. So for Odisha, we did for 4 beaches. One is the Gopalpur and Rushikulya and Puri. These are done by the Berhampur University, and another at Paradip, which is done by a CNCV Academy of Science and Technology college, local college. And here we find that miscellaneous is more than the tourism and recreation. So this type of information for Andhra Pradesh also was done, and here only one beach we got 42% of general waste. This is near to a very developed residential area. That shows the distribution. Similarly for Puducherry, so 67% comes from the tourism and recreation activities, and general waste was 25%. So, and the total litter was 1300 kg. For Tamil Nadu, we had selected 7 beaches, and there was 6,800 kg of liters were collected. This data within the 2 hours of activity, that shows that every day this much liter are being dumped in the beaches, on the beaches. So Andaman Nicobar, we choose two beaches and which gave 63% of for the source from the tourism and recreation. All this information site specific. The data, what I understand, that the composition of liters are very site specific, and we analyze the data, and what we the very beautiful information we got, that the liter compositions based on the material type, when you look at that, plastics are dominant in Gujarat, Kerala, Lakshadweep, Tamil Nadu. That means 50% of plastics, more than 50% of plastics are coming from these states. So similarly, glass, when you did, that is from Puducherry. 50%, more than 50% came from the Puducherry. So the Digha beach is highly contaminated with organic matter. Similarly, the Jalaripet shares the equal, so in Andhra Pradesh, that shares the equal. So this information, when we looked at on the material type, based on the material type, plastics, foams, rubber, and on the west coast, we found that Dumas, Mandvi, Sagareshwar, Kolva, Karwar, and Alapula are the 6 beaches which is dominated plastics. Similarly, some of the beaches like Varabal and Gurugram, they got fabrics dominant, and Akshan and Tanibhavi beaches got glass dominant. So same liter composition based on material type. For East Coast, we saw that similar trend, like Kovalam, a beach which is highly visited by the tourists, is dominant with plastics. Silver Beach, as well as Kodayakarai Beach, glass in some of the beaches like Ranchang, the beach in the Andaman Nicobar Islands, we got high so the high number of glass percentage as a composition. So organic in Digha beaches, the fabric in Jalaripeta and Paradip and Pumar. So when we took these items and we analyzed the data, we saw the item based on number, that food wrappers are the highest percentage, and the same it is if you look at the world report also, that is published by the ICC 2019. So the trend is almost similar. The plastic cups, the paper pieces, straws, tourism, others, beverage bottles, like that. This occupies the major share. At the same time, if you look at the weight, there are more glass bottles on weight, and these are all plastic bottles. So what the information what we got based on this, if we look at that, we need to regulate the littering, especially the eateries, whatever available, the mobile eateries along our coast. We need to regulate them, and we need to change. We need to look at the behavior of the people, and usually people go to the beach. There is a lot of food stalls. They use the eateries, and ultimately they throw it out. So there is somewhere there is a lack of the management of the waste. So these informations were actually published in the All India editions of Times of India on 3rd January. Was, as I told earlier, this is from the tourism and recreational activities, followed by general waste, and this is a completely man-made problem. So it requires a change in our attitude. Having said that, keeping this information, as an institute, we thought of initiating some of the programs, research programs on marine litter and microplastics. So as we know, these programs, later on we actually worked with some of the international organizations, and we decided the 6 work packages, and the package 1, 2, 3, 4, that is the sources and fate of plastic, quantifying and modeling. The package number 2, impact of plastic pollution on marine ecosystem, and package number 3, microplastics and health, toxicity, and on food chain. Similarly, package number 4, the social and behavioral change and awareness campaign, comes under a purview of our center, and the other 2 comes under purview of other ministries and other organizations. So keeping these 4 work packages, we started working it. So the research work initiated, it has like keeping from the river, from the land, how it is being transported through the river and comes to the ocean, so source to sink. and how it gets dissipated. And with the current system, this is one of the objective of our first research. Then what is the quantification, because there is no availability of data. So what is the quantification of marine litter on of microplastics in the water, sediment and biota? And similarly, what is the ecological impact of MPs, and creating that awareness, data monitoring, and also management and mitigation programs and measures, and ultimately all this information can give to make a litter policy for the country, marine litter policy, which is not till now, which is not there. So in recent times, there is a lot of discussion on the marine litter, and a lot of research papers are coming up. But in India, so far, we saw that 52 publications from our coasts, and most of the research paper are limited to the beaches and intertidal zones, megaliters and MPs, and biota are very few, and for the coastal waters are only 2 papers are available. So we do not have much data on our coastline. So this we initiated the research program. First we thought of taking a beach sampling for seeing the microplastics as well as the mesoliter and megaliter what is available in the on the beaches of Indian coast. And this program this program is a collaborative program with the Indo-UK program, and with this we saw that we prepared some of the protocols and this methodology, and we followed the methodology, and this water sample collections these are some of the needs required, some of the sampling procedures, and these are some of the laboratory analysis of samples. Then you have to go through the oxidation, density separation analysis. The only point here I would like to stress that because the FTIR or the Raman microscope, which is required for the chemical analysis, which is very costly, I think this is the hindrance for taking off the research activities along many universities in India, because of their cost. So a few studies what we have done so far shows that there are we have seen that the highest number of plastics whatever is coming are mostly from the tourism recreational activities at for beaches. And we also saw that some of the beaches along the Lakshadweep we took, whereas some of the beaches which are also not uninhabited beaches is also getting the plastic as a contamination, and these plastics are coming through different current systems. So this is one of the major problem for even for the places. That means the plastic has gone to the very extent from different area through different channels. So similarly, the survey we have done along for the Orissa, Andhra Pradesh, Tamil Nadu and Pondicherry coast, and we have collected the coastal water, and we have collected the sediments, and we have done 3 different seasonal cruises, and what we got that most of the river we are getting very high number of plastic particles. Almost some places we have recorded 130 to 290 number per kg, and monsoon seasons. And similar, some of the commercial fishes where we sampled, and we come across that 3 to 6 numbers of filaments are of different size of very 0.1 fish gut content. So most of the plastics dominated are polystyrene or polyethylene. So this type of data is really some sort of panic for the entire that can affect the food chain. And in the wake of COVID-19 pandemic, so there is there will be already some of the reports have published that this pandemic is going to add the plastic pollution, because there will be many-fold increase in the use of plastics, face masks, gloves, face shields, and PPE kits, and also the different types of sanitizers and all other etc. But the warning already, some of the media, it has already came, and some of the researchers have already published that the real challenge is how to contain the contaminated plastics. So, having said that, we have seen that the corporation in Chennai Corporation has once tried to clean the Kuam River, the nearby river here in Chennai, and they used a low-cost floating trap in Chennai, and this trap was you can see this trap was used in the Kuam River, and 20,000 metric tons of litter was removed, and out of this 20,000 metric ton, 2,000 metric ton of plastics. So this type of billions of trash and plastics with a nil cost of energy. So this type of things now, it is possible. That shows that it is possible to clean up our rivers using some sort of this type of low cost trap, and which is very important also. So the take-home message from our data, that 50% of litter is in single use of plastics. So we must stop. So no to single use of plastics, and it is very important that we should shift in public attitude, and there should be there should be a switch to organic or renewable resources. Similarly, we should design material which is required for the circular economy, as well as there should be a continuous awareness, research, and education that is on the waste management. And recommendations we had given: register the source, more focus on single, which can be adopted by the local university or college or NGOs. So this type of some methods or policies should be followed. So should be made use of. So deployment of low-cost traps in rivers, creeks, canals, cleaning of monitoring activities at regular intervals. Then we must introduce some of the biodegradable materials. So plastic litter being non-degradable, it is highly essential to promote the appropriate alternatives, and very importantly, the fishing net, which ultimately goes to the marine environment and becomes the ghost net, and affect the entire biodiversity and kills a lot of animals, marine mammals, marine animals. So that must be a national litter policy, which needs to be actually some better legislation which needs to be followed, and we need to explore some of the opportunities and benefits for shifting to a circular plastic economy. So for our suggestion, we have started for scientific activities. We have started research on marine litter, and it should be widespread. It should be taken by different organizations, so that we can get more data, and also we can see that how to contain this plastic pollution. Microplastic sampling methodology, that is very important to compare the data. And also we need to quantify the microplastics, and we need to understand how once it moves, it comes from the land through the river system, and how it moves, and to what extent it affect our beaches, and how it moves out from one place to another. At the same time, we must see that what is the toxicological effect of this microplastic on the biota, affecting the marine food web, and expand the use of sentinel species like bivalves in detecting microplastic abundance. And we need also to do the laboratory experiment. So look at the assessment of the impact of their morbidity, and which in many of the developed countries there are a number of publications coming up, so which is not still now lacking in Indian context. So we in 2020 we thought of proposing 50 beaches, doing the cleanup activity. But unfortunately, this pandemic, this COVID pandemic, maybe we do not know whether we will be able to do some of the activity. But what we can, these beaches can be adopted by some of the local citizens, local institution, local some of the private people, and they can take up the beach cleaning activity. And if we make them responsible, I think definitely these beaches are going to be, with a regular interval of awareness and a regular interval of cleaning effort, we are going to have a very, very clean beach. So at last, the vision on Swachhata. This is a beautiful picture of our Prime Minister. He is collecting the trash from the beaches of Mamalapuram, and his vision on Swachhata is, if we make it a public movement, we can make our country being counted as one among the cleanest nations. So the message is very clear. So little drops make mighty ocean, and from today onwards, we should take a place. While disposing our household trash, we should separate the plastic items, how tiny that might be, and hand over to a neighborhood recycler. Our small efforts are going to make a big change for generation to come. So I, on behalf of my director, so I thank all the ICC Day 2019 coordinators. So in future, we look forward for their cooperation and for their also engagement with the beach cleaning activities. And at last, this lecture I am dedicating to Professor Jayant Misra, who is from the Pondicherry University. And during this COVID, he lost his life the last 2 years with the coastal cleanup activities for Andaman beaches. Thanking you.
Thank you, Dr. Mishra, for a very informative talk. So there are a few questions. Please wait in the chat window.
Yeah. Question chat. This is chat, no? Yes. Any questions are there?
Please come out of the screen share mode and answer the question. Also, please read the question before you answer.
Yeah. So kindly enlighten what measures can be taken to prevent the flow plastics to the Bay of Bengal in view of Leviathan. As I said, we have also seen that I gave you a small example that for Coom River. So the plastics which is from the land, mostly the plastic origin is from the land. So we can also use some of the trash and trash traps we can design, and many countries they are now doing it. And we have also, I have seen it in Visakhapatnam in the Navy, within the Navy system they have also kept some sort of a trap, so not to allow the trash, they regularly collect it and clean it. So this is possible, and the moving and to prevent the flow of plastic to the by using some methods. And also there are other methods, like some of the developed countries are using, like the trash collectors in their rivers, and they time to time they clean the rivers. So the second question is whether marine littering from Indian coast needs to be discussed with the Environmental Ministry of India for a unified efforts. Yes, they are doing it. They are also involved. The Ministry of Environment is also involved, and to stop the flow of plastic from land to ocean, definitely. And they are also associated from time to time. But the understanding is this, that we have to give a, because as I told you, that must be a change in the attitude. Because unless we change our attitude, unless we have a system like at the trash collection at our household level and properly maintain it, it is very difficult to contain it. And so the littering, whatever is a man-made. So definitely we have to do it at our level, and then we can say that okay, but the responsibility can give it to the other people. So this is very important, and the ministry, many ministries are involved. with this plastic littering, and they are trying to through different programs, they are trying to educate people, they are trying to create awareness. So Ministry of Environment is also involved very much. How do you predict the time scale of retention of a plastic? Very uh, the the data what I saw, that a plastic bottle or a plastic net can stay for 450 years. That is the prediction that has been given. That is not my prediction. That is the lives. So they do not deteriorate so easily in system. The corporation has having a permanent system. Even there is a beach called the Turvanmur beach, which is being monitored by the beach walker association, a group of people. They also at a regular interval, polluted, because the people who are visiting, the visitors are littering the beach. So it is our responsibility. It is nobody's responsibility. It is our responsibility. So there no permanent system can work unless we bring such level of awareness among ourselves. Like I can give you the good example. The you might have seen, or you might have read, when the Japanese go the Japanese visit any place with a bag, so they bring back the trash from the place. Means wherever they visit, or if they are going to watch a baseball competition, then they go with their trash bag, and they bring it back. And that should be the attitude. So it is not that we should some permanent system can clean out completely. So this is very important. And the stakeholders, yes, stakeholders, government so the stakeholders are also responsible, no doubt. But this is very important, that whatever the coast we are seeing, that the coast, whatever the plastics are coming basically from our generated source. So we have generated. So since the medical sector contributes to plastic pollution, do you plan to study the effect of COVID-19 amount of plastic is being used? Yes, this is very important, no doubt. So the plastic, because in this statistics I didn't show you that how much is coming from the medical, because this was a awareness program. We had given though the format to get us the complete data, but with the COVID, so we have indication that medical the generated plastics leak to the system and come to the beach. We have evidence. So this COVID-19, after COVID-19 pandemic, this is going to rise. So the problem here will be, but we do not know so what type of contamination it is. So the people, if you engage, so it is very difficult. That's why I told, though you have planned for 2020, but I do not know that we can go to the beach and we can collect the trash, because we have to take the safety measures. Because after the COVID-19, so what type of virus, what type of contamination, what type of bacteria that is going to enter to the environment, and that is especially going to retain with the plastic, whatever is being thrown. So this is going to be really people for cleaning the beaches. So definitely we will look if we'll get a more some sort of funding, then we can provide the necessary safety measures, safety kits, so that people can go and work, and also can sample and look what is happening. Okay, I think that's the 5 questions I have, Binu.
Yeah, thank you very much, Mishra. That
Yeah.
was well answered. I request Satish to let us go offline.
Thank you. Can I leave?
Yes, Dr. Mishra.
Yeah, thank you.
Yes.
Whoosh. Uh-huh. This is